So I did some research on storyboarding since I had part of the project planned out. And to do this, I did most of my research for storyboarding through a YouTuber and animator called Robin O. The link will be in the description to her channel. So I downloaded a free storyboarding program called Storyboarder, which is a super creative name for a very creative job. And then I started on my thumbnails, which is the simple panel style images that you're seeing me draw. They're meant to provide rough detail for camera shots, emotional beats, character poses. So after my first rough storyboard was finished, I went into my note-taking app of choice called Notion, and I started to write down all the assets that I'll need to create because I am a 3D modeler first and foremost. And then I sorted them into theme-based categories, which will help me know what to model. It'll give me easy options to swap to if I get sick of making certain assets or I get any kind of art block during any of the process. It'll help me to understand the scope of the project. It's just something that I wanted to do because I knew I needed to have some kind of a note of what I was meant to be doing. So after a night's rest from the initial storyboarding, some inspiration hit, the story in my head progressed, and so I went back and added another thumbnail to my storyboard that will lead into the next chapter if this animation is a success. And then I also went back and touched up the other boards to keep consistency across the story. So storyboarding is something that I haven't done before, but as I'm finding, it's a pretty useful tool to help display feeling and meaning in your animations, and it helps you plan the animation out. So the key points that I would have learnt during storyboarding is that it allows you to plan out your camera angles, your composition, your key character poses, and what's required from each scene with the notes that you can put next to a thumbnail. I'll get more into camera angles, composition later when I detail out the storyboard, but for now know that they can help add meaning to a shot without having to explain it via dialogue, which my animation won't have any of. Also, it allows you to test out character poses, which also have a huge impact on the feeling a subject shows. A character pose is literally just the way a character stands, where they look, how they're positioned on the screen, where they're positioned on the scene. And depending on all these things, the size, the pose, the position, the same voice lines or actions that they make can have completely different meanings. So it's important to plan this out before you go into the animating. Something that I didn't know at the time is that this should be done after your script is written, your character environment and concepts for the assets that you're creating and designing have been finished. So I didn't know that, hence the stick figures and lack of detail, also hence why I did it before writing a script or before doing any environment art, asset design, or character design. So that was awesome. But the next day, I decided to do some research on cinematography, more specifically camera shots, angles, composition, depth of field, and coming from a 3D artist and photography background, a lot of these things were basics for appealing artworks to the eyes, but the meanings that these types of shots can display, the reasons why you might want to use them in animation, it was all new information to me. So I wrote down the key points in Notion, which is what you all are watching now. This is very insightful and I 100% recommend this YouTube series by Studio Binder. The link will also be in the description. Lots of information on when it's appropriate to use certain shots, angles, focus types in film. So if you want access to these notes that I'm writing, and everything for the entire process I'll be going through, then drop a comment down below, and if enough people want it, I'll find a way to share them to you all. So after this I did some more animation planning, discovered that I should have my characters and environments designed before storyboarding, so I opened my favorite free drawing program and started making some concept art. Now, as you can already see from my storyboard thumbnails, I'm not an amazing 2D artist, so this is something I did some research on, and then I started sketching. Final product isn't great, but it'll give me a general vibe of what I should work towards, and you might have already seen it in the initial time-lapse that I displayed at the beginning of the video, but it's also something that I did use when doing some more concepting for the motorbike, because I wanted to know how certain things were made, and I'd done a little bit more thinking about that when I was doing the environment art. So during these development logs, I'll most likely end up going and revisiting every section of the process, completely redoing, restyling, revising each step so the final outcome is of a pretty decent professional quality. The aim is that I can put what I've done in my resume and say that I'm a 3D generalist, an animator, product designer, sketch artist, all that stuff, and actually have the knowledge, practical wisdom, and something physical of a professional quality to back that up, because I am building up my freelance work as we speak. So as I'm recording this, it's actually the end of the month. It's November 2nd. So I'm going to finish editing and upload this video. If you made it this far, then I'm going to thank you for watching the whole way through. And if you enjoyed it, then please let me know. If you want to see the script and you want to have access to the filmmaking notes that I've made and all of the Project Dawnbreaker, which is the name of my story, if you want to have access to all of these, then just leave a comment down below if you can, and I will try and find a way to share it with you guys if that's something that you'd like to see, because I know that it's always interesting to be able to get your hands on whatever you're watching. So thanks for watching.